Hi everyone, my name is Tanya and welcome to my channel where I talk about Russian culture, everyday life and mentality. I'm a professional tour guide and today I want to do a tour of the Moscow Kremlin, one of the main attractions in Russia. We'll go inside and I share the Moscow's Kremlin history. I'll talk about its cathedrals and palaces. We will start with the ticket office. You'll get to know how much it costs to go inside. If you want to support my work, please don't forget to press the button like, and you can make a contribution on Buy Me a Coffee and PayPal, so I'll be able to create more videos for you. And also on Buy Me a Coffee page you can find more videos and lectures. Let's start. Here is the ticket office. Not many people know that if you want to go inside the Kremlin, it's not through Red Square. The Kremlin is pretty big and you need to go to Alexandrov or Alexandrovsky Garden and find Kutafya Bashня and Troitskaya Bashня just behind the trees. These two towers are connected by the bridge, and when you go inside the Kremlin and actually go through these towers, as you can see, we have some Chinese tourists, and now it's written not only in English but in Chinese. It's pretty much everywhere this way in Moscow. There's quite a lot of people, and unfortunately if you buy tickets online it won't really help because you still need to stand in the line and exchange them to actual tickets. So it makes sense only if you buy tickets to the Armory Museum because they can be out of them and the tickets are limited. As for the Kremlin, in my opinion, it's much better to go to the ticket terminals, which are over there at the end. There's never any line, and it's just that many people don't know that they exist. You see, there's no line, so you can just easily buy it. Here, well, it doesn't take that much time. It depends on the people in front of you, so you can go there. Let's take a look at the prices. So if you want to go inside the Kremlin, you need architectural complex of the Cathedral Square. It costs 800 rubles. If you need an audio guide, it costs 1,200 rubles. Let me show you the Kremlin's map. So everything that is highlighted is what you are able to see. So we will mainly go to the Cathedral Square, as the rest is the residence of the President of Russia. So we have entered the Kremlin through Kutafya Tower. It's different from all the others because it was built later in the beginning of the 16th century. The rest is the end of the 15th century as this tower called Troitskaya or Trinity. But let's start from the beginning. The Kremlin story begins in the 12th century. In 1156, just a few years after Moscow's foundation. By the way, it was in 1147. The first wooden walls were erected here. Time as Moscow grew in importance, so did its fortress, and in the 14th century we got the Kremlin made out of the white limestone. The current stone walls we see today were built at the end of the 15th century by skilled architects from Renaissance Italy. It's believed that back then best architects were there, and in Italy you actually can find fortresses that look similar, but the Kremlin is still bigger and it boasts 20 towers, each with its own unique design and history. You might be surprised, but inside the Kremlin we have some modern buildings like State Kremlin Palace on the right side, built in the 1960s. This structure with its white marble facade and reflective windows provides a striking contrast to the ancient architecture surrounding it. It was used for the meetings of the Communist Party for all 5,000 members or even more, and then in modern days, it's used as a stage at the Bolshoi Theater and also for big concerts and events. Across from the State Kremlin Palace, we find the Arsenal, founded by Peter the Great in the early 18th century. This building has a fascinating history. It was partially destroyed during Napoleon's invasion in the 1812, but was later restored. Today, it houses the presidential regiment. The name Kremlin actually means fortress, and Moscow's Kremlin is considered the largest historical fortress in Europe. Its walls stretch for over 2 kilometers, and if you want to walk around, it might take you 30 minutes. The thickness is ranging from 3.5 to 6.5 meters. As we walk along these imposing walls, imagine the centuries of history we've witnessed. In front of you is Nikolskaya Tower, and it's standing in Red Square. So behind this wall is already one of the most beautiful squares in the world. And if you want to watch a video of it, let me know in the comments and subscribe to my channel. On the right side, we have another beautiful Kremlin Tower, Spasskaya, or the Savior. It's actually the main Kremlin Tower. This one with the clock, it's the one that we see when we celebrate New Year. And on the right side, this beautiful, colorful cathedral known as St. Basil's that was built in the mid 16th century. It's extremely beautiful view that we are able to behold now. Inside the Kremlin, we are greeted by a breathtaking ensemble of cathedrals, and it's called the Cathedral Square, where we have some of the oldest cathedrals in Moscow. On the left, you have the Assumption Cathedral. The tallest is Ivan the Bell Tower, and for centuries it was the tallest building in Moscow, 81 meters, and it was even forbidden to build anything taller than that. You might ask, why do we have so many cathedrals in one place? And the explanation is that they had different functions. So we will take a closer look at the main one, called the Assumption Cathedral. It's the most prominent and the oldest, built between 1475 and 1479, so in the 70s or the 15th century. This was where Russian tsars were crowned, and it served as the principal church of the Russian state. Interestingly, that even when the capital was moved to St. Petersburg, coronation still took place inside this cathedral, and even the last Russian Tsar, Nicholas II, was crowned there in 1896. And now we will go inside one of the oldest and most beautiful cathedrals in Moscow. As we step inside the Assumption Cathedral, we are immediately enveloped by a sense of awe and wonder. The walls around us are alive with stories. Intricate frescoes depict scenes from the Gospel, the life of the Virgin Mary. Can you imagine the skill and devotion it took to create these masterpieces? As we move through the cathedral, we can't actually help but feel the weight of history. This is where Russian tsars were crowned, where praise were whispered for victory in battle, and where the fate of a nation was often decided. Now turn your attention to the magnificent iconostasis. This wall of icons created in the 17th century consists of 69 icons arranged in 5 tiers. Each tier tells a different story, from the creation of the world to the prophecies of Christ's coming. No visit to the Kremlin is complete without seeing 2 of its most famous attractions, the Tsar cannon and the Tsar bell. The Tsar cannon, cast in 1586, is the largest caliber cannon in the world, though it has never been fired in battle. There are many legends on why it was never used. If you have your ideas, please share in the comments. As for the Tsar bell, weighing an incredible over 200 tons, it's the largest bell in the world. And as you can see here, it cracked. What was the reason? The main explication is one of the biggest fires. People used cold water, so because of the temperature differences, it happened. Before the Grand Kremlin Palace, we are faced with a stunning blend of classical and Russian architecture. This magnificent structure, built in the mid-19th century, stretches an impressive 125 meters along the Moscow River. The palace was designed by Konstantin Thon, who is known as Nicholas I's favorite architect, and the idea was to emphasize the greatness of Russian autocracy. Let me know if you think this goal was achieved. The palace boasts over 700 rooms, including 5 grand reception halls. Each of these halls is named after an order of the Russian Empire: St. George, Vladimir, Alexander, Andrew, and Catherine. Imagine the greatness of ceremonies and state receptions that have taken place behind these walls. Well, normally we are not able to see them, only during inauguration, because today the Grand Kremlin Palace serves as the official and the main residence of the Russian president. Though it's rarely used for this purpose, instead it hosts important state events and diplomatic receptions. You can see even these days the Kremlin is more than just a museum, more than just history. It continues to play an important role in Russian politics. Today we've started our story with a wooden fortress, and we are going to finish with this beautiful palace. I hope you were able to learn about Russian history, art, design. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to press the button like. You can subscribe to watch more videos. Let me know in the comments what was your favorite part, and if you want to support my channel, as it doesn't have any monetization yet, you can make a contribution on Buy Me Coffee and PayPal. This way I'm able to get tickets for you and to do more tours in hidden places and to travel to other Russian cities. So thanks a lot for your support, and see you next time.